thank you so much for coming to my channel. My name is Hannah and I talk all things costuming, cosplay, and live events. Today I'm going to talk to you about my Korok cosplay. So a little bit of background, I love The Legend of Zelda. It was a huge part of my childhood, specifically The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, which is where we first see the Koroks. And I just kind of wanted to create a nice easy breezy casual closet cosplay. I originally wanted to wear this to SakaiCon, a brand new convention in kind of the Columbus area. Unfortunately, I got really sick right during the con, so I was not able to go. However, once I got a little bit better, I did finish this look, and so here I am gonna talk to you about it. So I want to say that I tried my best to not spend any money on this. So I really didn't purchase that many things. And while I didn't purchase a lot of things, I really only purchased two things. I do recognize that I had a lot of other supplies already on hand, like paints, paintbrushes, X-Acto knives, glue, rubber cement, all that good stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. So to make the mask itself, I used a pattern that I bought on Etsy from Sylph Stitches. I believe I'm saying that correctly. They specifically have a pattern for the Korok Makar or maker. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce the name, but I basically did like the inverse of that. So I kind of flipped it. So it's not exactly Makar, but you can clearly tell it's still Korok. You can understand what it is and what it's from. So I paid $4.44 for the digital download of this, and the instructions were super easy. I'm pretty happy with it. However, I will say if I were to make another one of these, I would enlarge the pattern specifically for myself so that it covers a little bit more of my head and neck. I'm not going to say the pattern is bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's great. I just personally, for me, I would have liked to have a little bit of a larger mask, but you live and you learn, right? So I had some scrap EVA foam I had purchased for another project that is kind of still in the mix, but it's about halfway done. So I had some extra scrap EVA foam, and I did not purchase additional EVA foam for this project. I am very new to EVA foam still. This is actually my first project start to finish that I've done myself using EVA foam. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have a lot better tips on how to use EVA foam. This is a new medium, and I also thought this method was a great way for me to like really work with the EVA foam a lot and get some experience. So there's that. So I printed out the patterns. I got them cut out. I had two. I had one for like the main mask shape, and then I had another one for that second layer that kind of pops out from the main. Then taking those patterns, I traced and cut out the patterns on EVA foam. Once the pieces were cut, I used rubber cement to layer those pieces together. So I applied the rubber cement and then I laid them flat on the table and put a couple heavy books on it to make sure everything stayed nice and flat and got connected. After that dried, I took my nail Dremel. I don't have an actual craft Dremel. I just have one that I use for my own nails. I'm sure at some point I will eventually get one, but I had my nail Dremel on hand and was like, this will work fine. So I took that nail Dremel and I went around the edges and the interior openings of the mask and I just smoothed everything out. So when I was researching some stuff, the internet told me to base the EVA foam in something so that the paint does not like sink into the foam. So I decided to just use some Mod Podge that I had on hand. So I did a clear coat of Mod Podge front, back, sides, the insides of the openings. I just wanted to make sure all my bases were covered. And then from there, I obviously waited for that to dry and then started painting. I just did one layer of like this middle green tone on the back, just in case anyone ever like sees the back, or you can kind of like see it when I'm looking, I just wanted to make sure it was covered and not just white. The front, I think I ended up using like 3 coats of that middle tone acrylic paint until I got a really nice even finish. And you couldn't see any white underneath, right? So once I was comfortable with that, I went in and did like a lighter green for a highlight and a darker like olivey green for a shadow. And I went in and did those highlights and shadows to create some more dimension on the mask. And then once I was happy with all of that, I did another clear coat of Mod Podge to make sure everything stays nice and safe and secure through my wearing. I've since learned that a big secret tip with EVA foam is that you spend a lot of time waiting for glue and paint to dry. And then to finish the mask, I attached some black speaker fabric to the back of it. And this is fabric that I had from my Jawa costume. I specifically chose it because I know that I can see through it very easily, and then people from the other side cannot see my like eyes and such behind it. So I had some of that already. If you don't have anything like that, you can find some on Amazon. It's in my Jawa idea list on my Amazon storefront. But you can also just use some like plain black cotton, or even just like a black cotton bandana, things like that, that are super easy and cheap. So I cut a section of this fabric that's a little bit smaller than the mask itself. And when I went to attach it around like the eye openings and things like that, I did a circle of glue around those inner sections, leaving enough space so that when I like pat down the fabric, it doesn't explode glue into the openings, you know what I mean? So I did like a circle around each of the eye, around the eye, and then I like patted the fabric down to secure it, and then did that for the other openings on the mask as well. So I wanted to make sure that I had some security around all of those openings. And then once that was all done, I went and did another layer of hot glue around the outside of that black fabric to secure it on the outside as well, to make some just double security, if that makes sense. And then once that was done, I had this like leather string that I had on hand for some other project at some point. I went ahead and cut 2 long pieces of that, and I hot glued them to the sides of the mask so that I can then like take it and tie it around the back of my head to keep it secure. And so far, that's been working really great. If I ever find that the tie is just not cutting it anymore, I'm fully prepared to just like start adding in bobby pins along the back to keep it even more. So that's how I made the mask, and I only spent $4.44 on the pattern, and then everything else, like I said, I already had on hand. And I will link the Etsy pattern in the description box as well. And now for the outfit. So I had tried for like a while to thrift some sort of tan overalls or jumpsuit, but I wasn't finding anything that I really liked or that would fit me at my local thrift stores. So I ended up purchasing this new like linen like jumpsuit overall situation from Amazon. You can find it on my Amazon storefront. There's a link in there, and I'll make sure that my Amazon storefront is copied in the description box of this video as well. So this jumpsuit is great. It has pockets, and it's really comfortable. To be honest, I bought a couple different jumpsuity things, and this was the one I liked best. I returned all the other ones. So I didn't just do like a one and done. I did try a couple other ones. This was the one that I thought was best. So I would recommend it. And there is also a version of the same jumpsuit where it has shorts and not pants. So I'll try to link that as well if that is more your vibe. Under the jumpsuit situation, I wore a long sleeve green t-shirt that I already owned. And if that was something I didn't already have in my closet, I definitely would have looked to the thrift store for that, because it's literally just a basic cotton green t-shirt. Again, super comfortable. And I've definitely had that in my closet for several years at this point, so that was not a new purchase as well. The overalls that I bought on Amazon were I think $29.99. I think maybe I got them on sale, but it was around $30 for those overalls. For my shoes, I just used a pair of brown combat boots I've had for literal years. Any sort of like neutral brownish boot, shoe, anything that you're comfortable in, I would recommend. I think that's great. For accessories, I used these cute little earrings that I bought at a second-hand store a year or two ago, and I typically wear them with like Ren Fair style costumes. They're leaves, they're cute. I thought it fit perfectly with the Korok, so I used those. And then I also used a necklace that I bought for another cosplay. So I'm not going to count that purchase towards total on this project, just because I literally bought it for something else and I will use it for another cosplay. So it was just something I had on hand, and I was like, oh wait, I think that could work really well here. And I added it for it. I also added a backpack that I actually asked for Christmas last year and got it. Specifically asked for this nice canvas backpack so I can go to Ren fairs and carry like my camera and recording equipment with me. So anyway, that backpack is also on my Amazon storefront, as well as the necklace that I bought for another thing. I'm not counting those costs towards the final cosplay because one was a gift and the other one I said is for another cosplay. And then just to style my hair, I pulled back my hair into two top sections, just kind of as a nod to the branches that you see at the top of Korok. And I will say there are a couple more accessories that I would like to add to this at some point, but I didn't go out and spend the money right this moment. Definitely we want to do some belt and maybe like a belt bag that is like leaf shaped, something like that. And I'm also looking to buy like some sort of like linen-y type scarf that I can wear over my head to kind of protect the back of my head and give more of an illusion around the mask, if that makes sense. And along with that, I think I would love to have a headband where I make little branches come out of it to be a little bit more specific about the Korok look. So those are some things I might be working on at some point, just to add to the look that I already have. And that is my casual cosplay. So I really only spent about $35 on the jumpsuit and the pattern for the mask. And it's a really comfortable costume. I enjoy it. It's a nice casual cosplay, cosplay, all that good stuff. And even though I wasn't able to wear it to SakaiCon, I'm hoping to maybe wear it to a Ren Fair or another convention in the future. So here we are. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, or share this video with a friend. Those are the easiest way to support me and my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching to the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.